What's up, YouTube? How you doing? Mass Matters podcast here. My name is Micah.
I'm Colton. Welcome back, guys. So the last couple uploads were fun to do, but the recordings that were posted and the live stream that was posted on YouTube, we didn't really capture the sound quality or the video quality that we quite want to do on this channel. So just keep in mind in the future we are going to get better at that and get especially better in the in-person live streams. Doing this right here is a little easier, but so I don't know what happened when we did night one. For some reason, the first half of the recording that I uploaded for our Olympia night one reaction, the video part was skipping and not actually playing correctly. So our commentary is fine and sounds good, but the video itself for the whole first half of the live stream of the show is not working correctly for whatever reason, and I don't know why. So I did not check the stream while we were streaming that, so maybe I will keep an eye on that next time for sure. But like I said, we will get better at this stuff. It's just little stuff we're working out, little stuff we're figuring out with our setups and whatnot. But we do have a lot to talk about. There is a lot going on in the bodybuilding world. I haven't seen you since I was over at your house for the finals, night 2 of the Olympia stream, which was incredibly fun to watch. I think everybody probably agrees this was one of the most exciting Olympias we've seen in a while.
Brother, I'm gonna say something real quick. This is one of my top 3 favorite Olympia shows to watch. The quality of each bodybuilder as they came into the show. Yes, it's apples to oranges when it comes to different physiques or different structures, but just the quality of conditioning that was across the board was something I haven't seen since Ronnie Coleman's second Olympia. You know what I'm saying? Where it was him. I believe he was going against Kevin Levrone, and he knocked him out, right? And so it was just a masterpiece. I mean, the one thing I have to say, of course, I'm sure everyone knows, the quality of the live stream wasn't as great as it usually is. I still think the Arnold Classic does a better job at production when it comes to the live stream. But just like Colton said, everyone's learning. We're not here to hate or to belittle anyone. We're just here to give our honest critiques. We've got things to work on ourselves. They've got things they need to bring up. But all in all, one of my top 3 favorite Olympias. The top 10, I mean, dude, if some of these guys in the back 5, the back 6 and up to 10, if they would have came in a little bit drier, we could have had a whole different top 5. You know what I'm saying? It was just the quality of conditioning, and then also presentation was crazy good.
It's incredible how many guys in the whole lineup of 16, how many of them brought conditioning to the stage, incredible conditioning. There was a few guys that were off a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I would have liked to have seen Andrew jacked a little tighter, a little drier. I think he looked really good. I think he's got more potential than anybody else on that stage, especially when it comes to shape and whatnot. I think in order for him to compete with Samson, who seems like he's going to be the king moving forward, and most likely and hopefully, in my opinion, the guy who's going to hold the reins for a while. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just this one and done stuff we've been seeing here recently since basically 2019. I think Samson has quite a lot of potential if he stays on the track he is and just keeps getting better like he's been doing. He has the potential to be a multi-time Olympian and win them back to back too. Like, you know, maybe, you know, I'm talking like 4 to 6 in a row. You know what I'm saying? He has the potential to be able to do that. So that's, in my opinion, I think so.
I mean, I 100% agree with Colton, guys. The Andrew Jack is a diamond in the rough, and if he polishes two things, one would have to be his posing to make sure that that way he accents the unique characters of his form, and then I'm just gonna say he needs to get some. He needs to work on his side poses, his poses from the side. He needs to really, honestly, his quads are great, but he needs to work on that hamstring sweep into the glute tie-in, and then also mess around with a little bit more dryness or that graininess you get. One person who I would always say was pretty well conditioned and brought that grainy look where you could like see each individual hair follicle was Branch Warren. Branch Warren was known for having that like, oh my God, in your face kind of, you know, conditioning, but his structure held him back and also his posing. So like this, just like the same thing with Andrew, if he gets that shit together, I believe he is the next person in succession, or if not next year, then the year after that. If he comes in dialed in, if he works on those two issues, hey man, the battle for, you know, top two, I can't wait to see that dog fight. It'll be amazing. You know, what do you think, Colton?
Do you agree? I mean, yeah, like I said, I mean, if Andrew fixes, especially his side chest, like there's certain things he does wrong inside in his side chest and his side tricep, but his side chest is probably agreeably his worst shot on stage.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to do something to fix that pose. He needs to do something to fix his side tricep, and I think his hamstrings need to come up. And I think, let's say if he was at 85 to 90% at Texas Pro, I think he was probably at around 82% at the Olympia. I think he lost. He was just slightly under what he was at Texas. So conditioning wise is what I'm talking about. So I think he just needs to bring in the conditioning a little bit more to the level of what the top three guys are doing in this division right now. And that's exactly what Samson had to do. He had to get on the Hadi and the Derek level conditioning, even though he's not quite there yet. He's just good enough to beat them right now, conditioning wise. But it's the same thing in my opinion. That's one of the he needs to work on his side poses and his conditioning to break that top three.
Yeah, and you know, one thing that, you know, if I'm sure you guys noticed it about Samson Dowda was the fullness, the level of full. I mean, like, think about this. Just the night before, he gets and says, "If anyone thinks that they can beat me, stand up here and let's do a pose down," right? And everyone's like, "Oh, he doesn't look that great. Oh my God, blah 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 blah." I do not know what that voodoo magic they fucking came with for the prejudging, but I mean the fullness was crazy, like absolutely crazy. Like, I mean, honestly, I would say this: if he tweaks his conditioning 4 to 5% and able to maintain them round muscle bellies, it's over.
You want to know what I think he did when they did the press conference, and he called everybody out in open and told them to get on stage and pose with them. What I think happened is, since they did his prep differently this time, from my understanding, it was a lot less of a carb load up is what they've been doing compared to what he's done in prep in the past. So I think he was carb depleted for the press conference, and then they carb loaded immediately after that, and he just fucking he still had the conditioning that he already had, and just blew the fuck up for 2 days right before that.
Well, I mean, another thing you have to appreciate about Samson Dauda is he is the biggest bodybuilder ever in Olympia history. To come in that conditioned at like 305 pounds, meaning like, think about this, guys. If let's say he came in 295, that extra 10 pounds of water and fat, if he lost that, I can't even articulate how unbelievably sharp and cut he was. I mean, honestly, if you think about it, he'd probably be just as tight as Hadi Chupan. It's like, there's certain things in the game of bodybuilding where, I mean, if you just tweak this, it's a night and day difference. And I think I agree with Colton. I think he was flat when he was doing the posing and the press conference. They carb loaded him up, got a little bit of water in him, and goddamn, that motherfucker was tight. And this is how you know he's tight, guys. He was not sweating. He had just the right amount of everything. Because if you start sweating, that shows that you on stage, you're not quite there, and that you're getting sharper during the show. Think about when Hunter Labrada first went to the Olympia and showed off. He was sweating, and then all you hear from the judges is, he needs to wipe down, but he's getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. I do think Samson started, especially in finals, started to tighten up the more he was being posed down. But, it's just one of those things, guys. This year was anybody's chance to win the title. Anybody in that top 5, I believe, if they would have came in just a little bit better, if they would have had a little bit more carbs. Like, I mean, honestly, I'll tell you why Derek got third. Everyone knows Derek's back shots are amazing. But he doesn't have the separation in the delts. He doesn't have the separation in the chest that he needs. And then also, his abs are average. I'm just going to say it. He doesn't have the most beautiful structured abs. I would give that title to Andrew Jack. And, of course, the late Sean Roden, when it comes to ab definition and density. And Hadi Chupan. Hadi's got it, too.
So one of the things that was actually my next question for you, was one of the things going around is Derek Lunsford's physique at the Olympia. The issue, they're saying the reason they punished him and took him from first to third this year is because his upper body has grown so much after this last offseason. And not only did his upper body grow so much, but his legs didn't get bigger. They actually seem to have gotten, and definitely look like they have gotten smaller since the last Olympia, especially in his quads, especially in his sweep. It all seemed a little underwhelming at this Olympia. Even last year when he won, he didn't win because of his legs either. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it was his structure. He's just the prettiest guy on stage. Like because they always say show the run from the back, and his back game is fucking.
The argument is that he lost and was punished because his upper body is so big compared to his lower body that it's offsetting his frame right now with the package that he brought to this latest Olympia. And his back is fucking. There's this shot that he posted on Instagram, and I wish I had it saved, but it's like he's facing they're facing the back, and he's like putting his arms out like that and spreading his arms and like doing like a lat spread with his arms out and shit. His back is one of the most fucking insane backs I've ever seen, and I know it's like prettied up for Instagram and whatnot, but even still, like you don't get a fucking photo like that without having one of the most dense fucking backs that bodybuilding has ever fucking seen. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't deny his back shots. You can't deny how dense his back is. You can't deny how conditioned he comes in from the back. but I think his X frame was hindered this year just because his legs were so underwhelming compared to how much more mass he's put on his upper body. And it's bad because he's 5'6", so naturally at 5'6" he's got shorter legs comparatively to taller athletes. So the frame is naturally going to be offset if your legs are not popping and you don't have a big quad sweep for open bodybuilding. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to have legs that match the upper body or you're going to be punished for it. I think that's why Derek was punished this year.
Well, you're absolutely right. And Ivan from Ivan's Bodybuilding, Nick from Next Strength and Power, everyone was saying like, hey, he looks. Because remember, coming up to the Olympia, there were a lot of back shots, a lot of back, a lot of muscle, the crab, the most muscular shots, but there was rarely a leg shot. You know what I'm saying? Or if he was showing off his legs, he's wearing like a hoodie or a big T-shirt, so you can't actually see the actual comparison between his biceps and his legs at the same time. And so you're absolutely right. I mean, there is an entire category of bodybuilding that they judge called symmetry, right? If you're walking around top heavy, and you know what? Perfect example. He reminded me this year at the Olympics of Brandon Curry. Wonderful top, wonderful back, wonderful details, wonderful roundness. But when you look at the legs, it's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's not the package that you need to bring, especially going against a Samson Dowda and a Hadi Chufan. Honestly, guys, I will tell you the biggest threat to any Olympian out there is Hadi Chufan. I mean, imagine if he would have brought the Arnold, Ohio conditioning to the Olympia stage. I don't know if Samson would have been able to pull out the water. I mean, because he's got a smaller frame, he's got as much muscle as possible. But when you're that dry, and he's got a little bit blocky other ways. But when you're that dry to where listen, you move your fingers and I can see all the tendons moving underneath your skin. It's like, it's dangerous, but the look on stage is this. I mean, like when I was watching the Arnold, when Heidi came out, I it's like a cartoon. My jaw dropped, and I felt like I was drooling for a second because I was in shock, and I was shocked about how beautiful and how conditioned he was. And it's just like one of those things where it's like, man,
so
God Almighty.
So check this out. Hadi and Samson at prejudging tied.
Mm-hmm.
Completely tied at prejudging. Samson did not win until night 2, and then he only won by 3 points. It was a win, but it wasn't. He didn't blow Hadi away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Hadi was tied with him at prejudging through the end of prejudging, and then when night 2 finished, when the finals finished, Samson was above Hadi by I think 3 points. So it was a very, very close match. But that's the thing about Hadi Choopan is like, if he is still in the Olympia until that man retires, and he looks older than he is, dude. He's only 36 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's still got years in the game if he wants to, and he's got such a fan base in his country. He's treated like
royalty.
He's literally the Tom Brady of Iran.
Yep, I would agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like that is their star football player to them. You know what I'm saying? And that was my point. Is anytime until Hadi Choopan retires, he will always be a threat. But the question is which Hadi is going to show up? Is 2022 Hadi going to show up? Is second place 2023 Hadi going to show up? Is Arnold Ohio Hadi going to show up 2024? And probably what everybody seems to deem his best package ever You know, if he has the potential to be first place, he has the potential to be third place, maybe even lower, depending on some of these guys coming up, like Andrew Jack, Martin Fitzwater. I mean, we talked about the top three. Let's move on to spot number 4, Martin fucking Fitzwater. Oh my fucking god! Like,
I mean, I knew he was good when he was pushing Nick Walker at the New York Pro, right? But when he came out and he went against Good Vito, who honestly looks fantastic for his debut. And then, you know, I didn't realize how balanced Martin was until he was going against Good Vito and Nick Walker. But the fact that his Good Vito's known for his ridiculous quads, right, and tiny waist. Martin was able to hang with him pose for pose, or even beat him, etch him out, and beat him. You know, Martin Fitzwater is probably one of the underdog stories of the Olympia, because no one saw him coming. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, top 6 through 10." You know, you can sprinkle Martin in there.
Some people had him in 8th and 9th place too.
Yeah. I mean, that's not way off. Yeah. I mean, but the conditioning was great. He also was getting tighter during the show. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't sweating profusely, but if you look at it, you look at the same poses he did from prejudging to finals, he tightened up. You know what I'm saying?
Here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Fitzwater, with the package he brought to the Olympia this year, on his best night, which I believe was night 1. I don't know. I think it was night 1. But same conditioning, same structure, same shape, same everything. But he's got 25 more pounds of muscle all the way around his frame.
Oh, Jesus. Hey, he's a wild card, man. He's a wild card. I mean, like, he came out of left field like a bat out of hell. Like, he full blazing, hard charging. And, I mean, honestly, when we did the live stream at my house for the finals, we both said that. We both were like, wow, like, Martin, I mean, he's a new coming, I would say, savant, because no one believed after last year, and this year pushing Nick in but Nick wasn't at his best quality for New York Pro anyway. But him pushing Nick to where wasn't that the smallest margin in bodybuilding history between him and Martin Fitzwater? When Nick is a top 3 Olympian, top 3, top 5 Olympian, it's just one of those things, man. When you see it, it's just, and you're like, this is a new bodybuilder. Like he's what's he been in the game? 4 years, 4 years, and he's already at the top. Like, the talent of this new generation. Hey, I'm looking forward to a very, very nice 2025 season. I'm gonna get back on stage at the end of the year, probably in July as well. Here, make the push myself. But it's just one of those things where, man, like, I'm excited. I'm very, very excited to see this next year's, Arnold Classic or what have you. But hey, we've hit open bodybuilding for our time. I just want to bring this up. What do you think about Sean Creeder versus Keon Pearson?
Keon he's the new thing, man. I mean, nobody's going to beat Keon. I feel like as long as it's just like it's like I said with Hottie, how Hottie's always going to be a threat if he's in the Olympia or still at any show. But if Keon is in the Olympia, he's always going to win. Like, I don't see anybody in 212, especially that has competed at the Olympia, that anybody could take 5 more years of on and off seasons, putting on muscles, health cycles, doing everything correctly, doing however much they need to grow, as big as they can for that weight limit. and get as pretty as they can. I don't think anybody has the time to advance past Keon in order to surpass him at the level that he's at compared to everybody else in the 212 division. And that's including Sean Clarita.
I will definitely say, without a shadow of the doubt, his X-frame structure, I mean, like, he has the perfect silhouette for a bodybuilder. Like, if you were just to, have him stand in front of a white curtain and backlight him so it comes up onto the curtain, even his front relaxed or rear relaxed is fucking ridiculous. And then the amount of detail he brought out of his hamstrings, bro. I mean, like, that's, I mean, I haven't seen conditioning in the hamstrings like that since Kai Green versus Phil Heath. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kai had those deep sweeping hamstrings, beautiful side poses. I mean, although his pose for the side chest was a little weird because he arched his butt out a little bit. But Keon Pearson, I think, and this is also a thing we forgot to mention, he still hasn't reached his weight cap. He's still got several more pounds to add on to max out his frame at 212.
I've heard from several different people, 2 different weights. It was either 205 or 207. I haven't been able to confirm which weight it was, but either way, he's still got either 5 to, what is it? 205 would be 7 pounds to go. 207,
5 pounds.
5 pounds to go. So if he's got 5 to 7 pounds to go before he even hits his weight cap. And what impresses me about Keon is his waist ratio to X frame. Like, there is nothing right there where his waist is supposed to be. It's incredible. He's got the nicest, probably rivaling Andrew Jack in nicest flow and physique in bodybuilding, period, in my opinion.
I honestly believe this. Let's say Keon wins for the next 3 years, right? So he's a 5-time Olympia champion. I have a no shadow of the doubt, if he came through with to open bodybuilding with that frame, I think he can knock some of the big dogs out of place. Like, if you think about it, Derek, Hottie, William Bonac, all those guys were 212 guys first. And they proved if you could just maximize the frame and bring conditioning, some of the big boys can't hang with you, because you being that dry is going to make you look bigger. Yes, you weigh less, but with the lack of fat and the more shadows that are cast due to muscle density, it's out of this world, man. Like, who would have thought? I mean, like, think about it. Who would have thought that Hottie, who played second to Flex Wheeler, would be an open bodybuilding Olympia champion? Like, that's, that alone speaks volumes for itself. I mean, even Sean Carita at the Legion Sports Festival won a bodybuilding show, and he's only 180 pounds on stage maxed out. And he was going against Sergio Oliva Jr., Regan Grimes, and stuff like that, bro. Like, I
think Keon would have placed top 10 in Open this year.
Yeah, I have no doubt. Even exactly the way he was today, like, you're absolutely right. He could have placed being 205 to. I would say even if he was 200 pounds, he still would be top 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, his shape is. I mean, it's something like when you look at a comic book character, how they have these
literally
they have these ridiculous proportions. Keon Pearson is a walking comic book character.
No, it's like it's a dream physique. It's like the physique that every kid dreams of having when they grow up. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Maybe at a different height, but I'm talking like shape wise or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like almost every like guy on earth would kill to have that physique. You know what I'm saying?
I highly agree with you. I highly do. And the thing about it is like the one weak point I could say is the separation in his abs, that little gap. But I mean, his posing's on point. The stage presence is on point. Like
I think
if you,
Samson has that same gap kind of. I think.
yeah. When he does, and I think he hits the vacuum pose, so it's not as noticeable. But I mean, think about that too. Samson's a 300-pound dude hitting vacuum poses. Like what? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the fuck, bro? Like, it's amazing. Also, 212. I mean, honestly, I'll tell you this. I think this year, what's his name? Angel Calderon should have beat Sean. You know, just due to muscle density and conditioning. Angel Calderon, I mean, yeah, he's been third in a row for like the last 5 years. But I think this year he should have been able to edge Corrida out. I don't know what Matt Jansen did to Sean because he looked like he came in like 15 pounds lighter than he did when he won his last championship.
He confirmed came in 10 pounds lighter.
Mm-hmm. But
from 180 to 170,
and that's a massive jump.
Crazy.
That's a massive jump.
At his height, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You can't afford to come in fucking 5 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
At that height.
Yeah, and so since we got Matt Jansen now mentioned here, I will say this: Quentin Beastwood or Quentin Uriah, he, I believe, was a little bit too aggressive in his first video, acknowledging that he's leaving him and talking all this trash. I do respect the fact that he did make a follow-up video saying, "Hey, I was in my emotions at that point." So he's like, like Matt, I didn't mean to attack him personally or whatever. But I mean, Matt Jansen, if you think about it, dude, like he's had a good run. He's had Olympia champions.
Well, here's the thing. It's like he definitely fucked up in the sense that he didn't give his athletes basically literally what they're paying him for. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do his job. Not only did he not do his job, but he didn't do his job to the standard of what his name is upheld. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to be one of the best in the game. And he let several guys down in their preps this last year. Mm-hmm. So, but that being said, is that means to go and fucking cancel this guy and he's a terrible coach and blah 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 blah? No, he's not a fucking terrible coach, dude. He's coached fucking great athletes. He's coached fucking Sean Clarita. He's coached many winning bodybuilders before. But did he have a bad last year because maybe his focus wasn't in the right areas, or not even that's opinionated and subjective right there. Maybe his focus was, it's better to say his focus was focused on what he wanted to focus on more, what he thought was more important, and he didn't focus on his bodybuilding coaches as much as like us, the fans, or his athletes themselves would have wanted him to focus on it. But like all these people online saying, "Oh, he's a terrible coach." And just like literally this, cancel culture happening, fucking taking a hold of this bullshit. And, Matt's not a bad coach. And it's unfortunate that his most of or all of his athletes didn't have a good year last year. But that's no reason to like tarnish his name and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. The one thing you're absolutely right. Fuck the cancel culture thing of this. I mean, the guy, like, this is the thing. No one knew what or could say what was going on in his brain at the moment. You know what I'm saying? He found a new passion, which is endurance racing. He's starting to do triathlons. He's starting to train triathlon athletes, and and that's where his focus is split. But the thing is you can't sit here and say that he wasn't one of the best, because he was. He was one of the best coaches in the game. And I'll tell you, as a guy with kids, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, especially as a father, if you miss certain events if it's the, a basketball game, a baseball game, a music concert, if your kid's in band, whatever, what have you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of eats at you. You know what I'm saying? Because in your mind, you're like, yes, I'm providing, but also what kids love is attention from their parents. You know what I'm saying? So if he's, and I'll put this in your mouth, Matt. I'm not gonna say that you're in a different. I would say, Matt, it's like me sometimes. What brings me the most happiness in my life is watching my kids learn a new skill, and that glow that they get, that energy that they get, that the love that they give you for teaching them how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's second to none. Honestly, this is saying the words of Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's not better than coming. I believe actually watching your child advance and knowing that that's your legacy is, if not more important, especially as a male, as a role model, because fathers, we miss a lot of shit. Moms are usually the ones that are out here doing it, and I understand where he's coming from. As a family man, I understand exactly where I don't think it should tarnish his reputation. You know what I mean? I mean, if for his mental health, being around his family is what's going to help him be the best version of himself, then Matt, thank you. Go about. We appreciate your time in the sport of bodybuilding. But hey, man, go do what you want to do. Be with your kids, be with your wife, maybe have another kid. But I hate the fact that some people are shaming him and trying to call him out of his name. It's like, come on, dude. Like,
and also it's like the people saying Nick Walker, and it's like I got two more topics to bring up since we brought up the topic of cancel culture. Two more people to talk about, three more, if you will. Nick Walker pulling out of the Olympia, right? We talked a little bit about it in one of the podcasts we did recently. There's been some more information come out. Matt Jansen retired now, and we figured out what was going on with all that. A lot of people online are talking shit about Nick Walker for pulling out of the Olympia. I've heard something that arguably is funny, but it's like not exactly true. But people calling him Nick Talker. So, but it's like, dude, he didn't pull out of the Olympia last year. The dude had a hamstring injury, a tear that we all saw pictures of. That was a pretty bad fucking tear. Like, he was fucked up from it. So there's no way he was getting on stage with that. No way he's going to be able to pose with that. So he didn't pull out of that one because of anything other than an injury, which is totally acceptable, And then he's also not known for pulling out of a bunch of fucking shows either. He pulled out of the Olympia because, and whether you agree whether that was right or wrong, I still think if it was just the fact that they weren't going to get prep right, I still think because of the promotion using him and his picture and his videos to promote the actual show and getting his fans to come to the show, he still should have competed if it wasn't the health injury. But it's like, it brings me back to the point of Nick Walker should not be fucking canceled because he pulled out of the Olympia. Like, the dude is still considered a top 3 bodybuilder in the fucking world. He placed top 3 at the Olympia. He's won the Arnold Classic before. Like he's won the New York Pro several times. The dude is one of the best bodybuilders in the world. You know what I'm saying? He's not. It's this fucking cancel culture bullshit. That's like anytime somebody makes a mistake or does something that the majority of people don't agree with, other people just latch onto it and think that they have to like make this their agenda. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a ridiculous fucking thing that is unfortunately brought about because of social media in general, and it sucks that the bodybuilding community has to deal with it too. But
Oh, all right. So you said Nick Walker pulling out, he still should have did the show. I'm in the belief of, yeah, I understand you didn't think that'd be your best package, and you didn't want to place out of the top six. Okay, understandably. I still think you did owe the Olympia and your fans for you to show up for the event of the expo.
I
Signs,
think he did.
T-shirts.
I'm pretty sure he was there at the expo.
Okay. I can't recall if he was there or not, but this. Think about this, guys. Who are we to judge him? Bodybuilding is, and I hate to say this, it's a dangerous ass sport. The amount of gear some of these guys are taking, the mixture of diuretics, the lack of certain factors in nutrition, then the dehydration, dangerous. Think about it. George the Bull died in his hotel room, because he took a diuretic and his body just went into shock and he died. And so, we're losing bodybuilders left and right, although we don't know if it's recreational drugs mixed in. We don't know if it's pharmaceuticals mixed in, because, doctors over the last 20 years have just been writing prescriptions like you shooting a machine gun. You know what I'm saying? They don't let their finger off the trigger. They're just shooting rounds, and whoever they hit, that's who's getting the fucking pill. You know what I'm saying? But I think, and I hope that Nick, does what's best for Nick. Because think about this, bro. Like, especially being a combat veteran, the amount of people I know who didn't handle or talk about their problems when it comes to stressors, who have committed or have self-deleted, is 22 a day. 20, and I got to take breaks off Facebook for sometimes because I don't want this to keep seeing people that I've trained with, people that I know I was in combat with, deleting themselves, and so just like with Matt Jansen, prioritize your health, your mental health, your spiritual health, whatever you need to do to be the best version of you. And shame on the fans for over here leaving them bad messages. The guy already knows. Nick is a trooper. You know what I'm saying? Like if you watch any of his workouts, the dude is probably the attention to detail. I haven't seen that since Kai Green was prevalent. You know what I'm saying? The controlling the weight. I don't need to do crazy weights to get this killed. He said, I just need to do it controlled, doing tempo, doing, whatever, split squats, whatever he needs to do, he does it. But it's like, give the guy a fucking break, man. Give him a break. Who knows? He could have lost his grandmother and he had, let's say, or grandfather, and he had a good relationship with them. And so he's eating up inside.
He's also not, like you said, these dudes, a lot of them take a lot of gear to get to the size that they're at, and then they slow down a little bit just to maintain. Some of them don't slow down. Like I know Nick has talked openly about his cycle, and it's been, he's admitted to taking some very heavy, very big cycles before. But it's like he's not obligated to release his blood work either. You know what I'm saying? So there could be blood markers that are way off that are a real issue. And he's not obligated to release that information. You know what I'm saying? But he's also that falls under the category of there being a health issue as to why he can't compete. And like, to me, that's a perfectly reasonable thing. But the thing is, it's like he's not obligated to release that information. But would it help his case after him pulling out of the Olympia? I definitely, for sure. You know what I'm saying? It might be shit that he doesn't want people to fucking know.
But the caveat to that is, as well, is as one of the best bodybuilders in the world, you know, if you are having a health problem because of whatever gear you're taking, right? I believe for the next generation of bodybuilders, you should let people like, hey, I did this, it messed up my blood work, so I have to sit out, guys. Boom, bam, over, right? Do like some people say, make sure you're getting your blood work done. If you're trying to do this as a career, stay healthy, stay focused. Rely. Like Derek Lunsford, he's very religious, he's a devout Christian. Rely on your faith, rely on your family, and be a dad if you have a family. Be a husband if you have a wife. But it's the only reason why I say that is because my personal beliefs. I believe as a older gentleman, if let's say some of the kids I mentor, right? My job is to make sure that they learn from my mistakes so they don't go through. You know what I'm saying? If I could take a kid who's training with me, or if I could take a kid who looks up to me because of my military past and some other of my laurels, whether it be graduating from university, what have you. I think that you just need to you need to let these kids know that, hey, it's not always perfect. There are some side effects to this game, especially taking the amounts we're taking to be a professional bodybuilder. And so with that being said, I don't believe he should have went into great detail, but I do think he should have shot like a warning shot, say, hey guys, boom, this happened to me. Make sure you're focusing on your health as well. Boom. Dominance, I support it.
In my opinion, I'm more of the side of transparency when it comes to the sport and athletes being open and honest about the gear they take and whatnot. And I would on this channel, I would love to be a channel that we openly talk about gear and whatnot. I mean, eventually and probably soon we'll probably have to start the videos and streams with a little disclaimer about how this is just for talking and educational purposes and whatnot. And we're not influencing or recommending anybody try anything or do anything like that. We're just simply discussing the lifestyle and experiences that we've had and whatnot. So we're not going to get into all that in this episode, but like I am on the side of transparency when it comes to that. And I believe like if these pro level athletes, these guys that are competing at the Arnold, the Olympia, these pro shows that everybody's watching, like if they do have a major health issue, which is attributed to gear, health markers, blood work, all that stuff, like I am definitely more on the side of people being transparent and open about it, just so we can potentially save the lives of the younger generation, these 18, 20-year-olds who are getting in the gym and learning how to put on muscle and like are like, oh, what would happen if I do a cycle? You know what I'm saying? Like just so they don't overdo it. They you know what I'm saying? The transparency is very important to me, and having that education, you know what I'm saying? Like, because that's how people end up dying at fucking 35 years old.
Like the thing that I think most helped me was watching the Tom Platz interviews where he had interviewed bodybuilders. He blurs their face and alters their voice a little bit, but you can kind of tell who it is behind the veil. Just if you're familiar with the cadence and the speaking patterns of some of these bodybuilders. But I mean, think about this: the Quad Father, some of the best legs, period, in bodybuilding ever, history, ever, right? If he can do and prepare for Olympia only spending $1,000. I think he said like I'll say this anywhere between $700 to $1,000 on gear, right? And then you take a look at some of these guys now, and they're taking, 4 to 5 to 6. Like, they might be on the same thing as the Liver King. The Liver King was taking $13,000 worth of steroids a month. Like, it's like at a certain point, like, you got to realize that less is more. I'm a firm believer in the Tom Class method. I think you only need to take as much as you need to get a response. Once you get a response, stay there, go there. That way you're just not pissing gear down the drain because you're using too much. I mean, your body can only absorb X amount. You know what I'm saying? So once you figure out what it is to get that reaction, that's right. I think that should be your cap. Get the reaction, do it. Maybe your body does adjust, but I don't think it's going to jump 100 milligrams every freaking year or every 2 years if you're low dose. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like doing mushrooms. You don't have to eat a whole eighth. If you just, honestly, if you just grind them up in a coffee grinder, put a teaspoon in your thing or into your drink and then blend it up again, you're gonna get the same reaction as you did if you ate half the bag. Right. So it's just like, I think less is more. I think that more bodybuilders need to be advocates about mental, physical health, and staying on top of your health. I think it'll do strides for the sports. There are some other channels out there. I'm sure I'm not going to name any names, but they're out here promoting steroids as it's a good thing, and they're in their 20s. It's like, bro, I tell people I wouldn't even think about doing gear unless you are literally Nick Walker and you have the ability to hop on stage and then immediately win and then start placing in or winning pro shows. Okay, possibly. But if you're in the ages from 16 to 32, if you just eat right and train right, I don't think you actually really need to get on gear at all. And like I said, unless you're planning to compete at the highest level, but even then, low dose it. You don't need to go overboard. You don't need to be pissing out $1,000, $2,000 of steroids a month. And crazily, I don't know how you can afford it.
Yeah.
In this date and time.
You got a good.
Another thing that came up is the Mike Van Wyck and the Jeff Nippard. Yeah.
This is fair warning for anybody who may watch this video. This is probably my take is probably gonna be controversial to the majority of the population, but I watched the CCTV footage of it, of the whole thing, not just the 6 seconds that Jeff Nippard posted originally. So Mike Van Wyck works at this gym. He's a trainer. He's worked there for a while. He walks through the gym to go work out with one of his buddies, and he walks past Jeff Nippard and acknowledges him and says, "Oh, this is going to be fun," or "This is going to get funny." And this is because they've had a little bit of talk between each other online and talk shit. And Mike Van Wyck made a video about the science-based YouTube community and whatnot, and how they all talk shit about a lot of different compound movements and how you shouldn't do standing bicep curls or you shouldn't do this and that for whatever reason. Like all these tried and true things that bodybuilders have been doing since fucking Arnold, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of these younger science guys, are saying you shouldn't do these things. And it's like, no, you can do the things that you're also promoting, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do the compound movements. You know what I'm saying? You should always learn those as a base to begin with, in my opinion. Like that's how you should be, is on free weights with compound movements to start with. And then
I agree with you as well. But what I'm saying is, and I do agree with Mike Van Wyck, is that if the science base was so good, why do these guys have average physiques? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, like think about this. I've been lifting for over 20 years and doing the Arnold Schwarzenegger, doing the standing bicep curls, doing, heavy squats, doing heavy deadlifts, doing all these different things. They're tried and true. Like they're talking shit about something that actually has credibility because people have been Mr. Olympias who do this shit. Like lat pullovers. I've heard people talking about lat pullovers is bullshit. Blah 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 blah. Dorian Yates did lat pullovers to failure all the time. One of the greatest backs in bodybuilding history. Correct?
Right.
And so if you've got an Olympia champion who's doing a training method, right? And you're able to also establish that mind muscle connection with those weights you're moving in whatever exercise you're doing. That's the only thing that's important. I mean, like, I don't think there's a right or a wrong way. I mean, like you know this. I don't get a good rear delt pump doing face pulls. I have to get on the pec deck. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's different. Everyone's their own biosphere. Everyone's going to react to substances differently. I mean, let's use marijuana for example. There's some people who smoke it, can completely function. There's other people it puts to sleep. Other people it gives them the munchies right away. Other people that makes them overly paranoid.
Yeah, and paranoid.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so if that's the case, you don't know exactly how, as a personal trainer, how to. I mean, every person is different. I remember back when I was in school, working on the gym, doing, for wrestling, football, track, what have you. And they would always have this little 12-inch by 12-inch box. And they said, oh, your feet needs to get your pinky toe needs to be touching the line of the box. And I was like, bro, like, honestly, I had the horrible numbers because my body doesn't work with those mechanics of lifting. I need a wider base. Plus, my legs are longer than my torso. Plus, they were teaching me to squat high bar when low bar is a better position for people like me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like these exercises have been proven to work. I mean, you got Mike Israetel, a PhD, doing some of these same things that people are that Arnold did, and he's got a great physique. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, the proof is in the pudding for me. Jeff Nippard looks like just an average gym goer, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not too cut, not too round, not too whatever.
So what happened was Mike walks past and says, "Oh, this is going to be funny," or "This is going to get fun," and then goes to a cable machine, and him and his buddy start working out. So on the footage, it shows Jeff Nippard and his camera dude talking, and then it looks like Jeff starts walking over and hollering towards, or talking towards Mike Van Wyck and calling his name and calling him over. And from what was discussed and what was said is Mike also told Jeff Nippard, like, just stay away from me, leave me the fuck alone. I don't care to talk to you. I don't care to interact with you. I don't care to be on, interviewed on your videos and whatnot. So my thing is, it's like, why approach a dude who you have issues with, first of all. Y'all don't have a good rapport with each other online. From my understanding, he told you to fucking stay away from him. Y'all can perfectly work out in the gym without interacting with each other, without purposely video recording each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you happen to show up in the background of a shot, whatever. But like sitting there and purposely getting something to try to get your views up on your pages and your channels, that's ridiculous. So, and what happened is they walk up to each other. Jeff Nippard is saying something like, "What are you talking about, man? What do you mean?" And in the state of Texas, and I know they're not in Texas, they're in Canada, where they have a bunch of stupid fucking liberal ass bullshit laws. But we live here, we live in Texas, where the laws are quite different. In the state of Texas, when somebody walks towards you in a manner, especially after there's already been confrontation where you tell them to leave you alone or don't talk to you, don't approach you. If somebody approaches you, walks up to you, runs up to you, in the state of Texas, that is called aggressing somebody. So when you aggress somebody in the state of Texas, or when you get aggressed by somebody in the state of Texas, you have the legal right to defend yourself and protect yourself however you need to. I'm not saying that means you have the right to go and shoot somebody, but you have the right to physically defend yourself if you need to. If somebody literally just walks towards you in a aggressive or violent manner, or is walking toward you after you've already told them not to interact with you. So them coming towards you like that is called being aggressed or aggressing somebody. So Jeff Nippard technically aggressed Mike Van Wyck. Now, I'm not promoting violence. I don't agree with Mike shoving him, but I would like to hope that I would have more self-control in the what went down, and I wouldn't shove him. But like, we all fucking make mistakes. People have tempers. Some people control their tempers better than the others. Mike Van Wyck undeniably lost his temper and did something he should not have done, and he shoved Jeff Nippard. But the fucking backlash that this dude is getting online, and the cancel culture, once again, bringing up the cancel culture that this dude is getting because he shoved another man to the ground on his hiney. Like, dude, I've been in fist fights with guys before, especially like when I was younger in my late teens and early 20s. I've fist fought dudes, and we shook hand and hugged afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get it out of the way and it's whatever. This fucking guy got pushed on his ass after he was confronting somebody who already told him to leave him alone. And I already stated that I don't agree with Mike Van Wyck pushing him. I don't agree with his actions. But it's like, dude, it's not that big of a fucking deal, dude. You got fucking pushed. Either stand the fuck up and push him back, ask him to go outside, or just fucking move on, go to a different side of the gym, go to a different gym. But going to the fucking hospital and getting a fucking scan because some dude pushed you to the fucking ground, and then posting a fucking Instagram picture that you're at the fucking hospital because some dude pushed you on the ground. Like, dude, that's the softest fucking shit I have ever seen in my fucking life, dude. And that guy, he would not last a fucking week growing up in the neighborhood I grew up in. I mean, I'm just gonna
I mean, let's be honest here. Like essentially, Mike was like, "Hey, like, you know, don't pet my dog. He bites, right?" And he's showing your aggressiveness to Jeff Nippard. And then all of a sudden, when Mike's not around, he goes up, "Oh, hey, sweet dog, you know me." Boom, gets bit, and it's like, bro, you were already told not to fuck with the dog, bro. You know, like, and that's the thing is like, you know, Jeff is doing it because it's clickbait. It's, you know, he'll be, oh, I stood up to Mike, or, you know, a confrontation with Mike, or what have you, right? And
well,
I think that
I got assaulted by Mike. I'm in the hospital because of Mike. Like, dude, they would have my ass and make fun of me if my circle saw me fucking do some shit like that. If some fucking grown man pushed me on my ass, you know what I'm saying?
And you go to the hospital post. Like, you know, oh my God, you got a thermometer in his mouth. Oh, he pushed me to the ground. Oh my God, you know, like the Kevin Hart. Oh my God, no.
It's almost fucking comical, dude. Like, he did. If Mike Van Wyck wanted to hurt Jeff Nippard, he would fucking hurt him, dude. Mike Van Wyck is huge. He's 6 foot, probably like 270, 280 right now. He used to fucking weigh 300 pounds, over 300 pounds off seasons. Like, the dude is a fucking big fucking guy, and Jeff Nippard is 5'6", 170 fucking pounds. You know what I'm saying? Like he fucking shoved him, and it looks like the way when he shoved him, I don't even think his intention was to shove him to the ground. I think he was just shoving him back to get his attention and be like, yo, get the fuck away from me. But unfortunately, Mike is a big, strong motherfucker, and Jeff is a fucking 5'6" lightweight, you know, for lack of better words. And he fucking pushed him, and Jeff Nippard went to the ground. And now everybody's like, oh, if he would have been 1 foot to the left or 2 feet to the left, he would have hit the rack of weights, and it could have ended very differently, or he could have died, or blah blah blah. And it's like, when
if it shoulda, coulda, woulda. If it shoulda, coulda, woulda. None of that shit happened. So why are you even talking about it?
If you go to court, if you go to court, they don't judge a case on what if this could have happened. They judge a fucking case on what happened in the situation. They're not saying, oh, well, you fucking ran the stop sign and you hit this lady in this car, and yeah, the lady got a little banged up and got bruised up and had to go to the hospital, but we're going to charge you with murder because you could have fucking killed her, you know?
Hey, bro, but we live in this little puffy rainbow type. You know, I'm skipping through a field of flowers generation. You know what I'm saying? Also, okay, new topic real quick. Rubio, Nexzilla. What do we have to say about Mr. Flake, Mr. Snowflake, bro? I honestly, he's almost getting to the level of Kai Green, when Kai Green was always hinting that he's going to do a comeback. Oh, I'm going to do a comeback. I'm going to do a comeback. And then years and years and decades. And then, you know, that I feel like
start calling him Casper the Friendly Ghost, because he keeps ghosting every single time it's like, why are you telling us you're going to do these shows? Why even make the announcement that you're doing the show and then fucking pull out every single fucking show? Like, just stop saying you're going to do shows until you're going to do shows, dude. Like, what is the issue here? You know, it's not that hard to understand. It's not like a language barrier issue because you don't speak English. Like, if you're not going to do if you don't know 100% you're going to do a show, stop announcing you're going to do a fucking show. Like, there's no reason that Nexzilla is doing the Prague Pro 2024 gets announced, and it's like, no, he's not, because guess what? Once again, Nexzilla has pulled out of Prague 2024. Like, are you fucking? Why are you even telling us you're doing this shit?
The one that got me the most upset was when he pulled out of the Arnold, when the Arnold is an invitation-only bodybuilding show.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And for me to be like, okay, Arnold Schwarzenegger wants to see you on stage at one of the biggest shows in the world in our sport of bodybuilding. Who and why and who the fuck do you think you are, bro? You are not Tom Brady. You are not Michael Jordan. You are not LeBron James. It's like, bro, one of the most legendary, biggest names in our sport invited you to a members only party, and you flake out of that. And not just flake out, they even had permission to use you in their promotional ads to advertise for the Arnold, and you pull out. It's like, yo, that's when I knew there might be a problem with this kid. You know,
it's like, is he pulling out because he doesn't think he can win these shows? And it's like, when are you going to get to the point to where you think you can win the shows and you're actually going to do these shows? Like, if that's the issue, you know, it brings me back. Like, just stop announcing that you're doing fucking shows until you get down and conditioned the way you want, until you get your upper body shaped the way you want to match your fucking goddamn redwood fucking tree trunk legs. You know what I'm saying? Like, your fucking sequoia tree trunk fucking legs, you know? Like, So whatever you got to do to fucking fix your issue, like stop announcing shows until it's fixed. You know.
If I was his coach, and his coach isn't it Stefan Kinsel?
No.
Or is it someone else?
It's is it Daniel? Not Daniel. What the fuck? Cormier.
No, that's someone who likes Chris Cormier. Chris Cormier is just likes it. Yeah, he's just like Psycho Lewis. He trains people. He doesn't really like coach them for like diets and shit. I mean, a lot of the times, Cormier is like the right hand man to Chris Aceto, because Chris will handle nutrition and the training is handled by Chris, right? But I think that like exactly like you said, man, keep your mouth shut until you're actually like. If I was him, I wouldn't announce that I'm doing a show until my name showed up on the competitor list 1 week out from the show.
Yeah.
You know? Like just keep it quiet, please.
And then it's kind of exciting. It's kind of exciting like that because then it's like, oh shit, he's in the show.
But I mean, all I think he's doing is he's losing fans over this shit, right? People want to see him compete. He does have that freak factor, but it's like, dude, you got to get your shit together. This is you. I mean, like pretty soon, like dude, dude, Nick Strength and Power said he's on the verge, and same thing with Ivan. I'm not even like doing videos with him in it because he's just such a snowflake. It's like, who cares if he's training in the gym? Everybody trains in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Is he going to get in shape to do a show? Nobody knows except for this idiot. But he doesn't seem to freaking care about his fan base enough to actually put together a good package and get on the stage.
I can't find Nick Zilla's coach on Google. Ivan Bodybuilding made a video about it, but I don't want to scan through the video right now. I don't think it's Stefan, though. Anyways, it's just it's fucking nuts, man. It's crazy to me.
And now that we mentioned Stefan Kinsel, whoa, what a year for that motherfucker, bro!
Yeah.
What a year! Like and the crazy thing about it too is he seems to wholeheartedly love being a coach, and you can tell by the amount of athletes he has and the quality of the physiques that his athlete brings to whatever show that they're doing. I'm highly impressed by him. You know, like, I mean, shit, you know, for my mad dash to get my pro card, I might ask him to do it. You know, I'm torn between Milo Sharsha, Stefan Kinsel, and you know, I wish like if what's his name, Mountain Dog, if he was still alive, I would definitely want to go through him. Like, you know, what's his name? Passed away. He was Missy's coach. It'll come to me later. But like, I think Stefan Kinsel is making a name for himself. Like he's produced good athletes. His clients come out looking great. And you know, I feel like, you know, we might be losing Matt Jansen, but we're now getting a coach to replace that and fill in that void that also is a diehard bodybuilding fan. You know what I'm saying? So I think we're getting a decent replacement for one of the best coaches in the game.
Wesley Vissers didn't really hit the mark. Didn't come in and get an expected placing like everybody expected from him in the Olympia.
I think he suffered from Urs Kalinski problem. You cannot stay show ready for 5 or 6 weeks and then expect when the show happens to be, I can do a little bit more. No, it doesn't work that way, bro. Like you need to get your shit together to where at that last week you're getting to the position that you are needing to be in. Remember when he hit that rear double bicep, Wesley? And you can see every fiber in his delts, and you know his teres major and minor fucking like you can see each part. The upper latimus was just like nah, and you're just like shit. This is fucking awesome. Look at his back development. He might be able to beat Chris from the back. Then he shows up on stage, and it literally feels like someone's like no. Remember that water you had a couple months ago? we're just gonna spit that right back in you and give you a little filmy kind of look. You know, with Wesley Visser, especially in his legs, he needs to be dry as a motherfucker. But like I said, I think he suffered from ERS. ERS was missing the mark because of the fact that he would peak too early, I think. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think Urs came in with his best look ever at the Olympia.
Oh, yeah, this year, yes.
It was I mean, especially from the back, it was like he's made so much progress since the last time we saw him on stage. It's crazy. Like I don't think he was at 100%. I think he can still get better, and I think he will get better, especially since now that Chris Bumstead is retired. The push for being number one in classic division just got that much more competitive and exciting, because now we have somebody who stirred up classic division this year that nobody saw coming in and placing the way he did, and not only placing second, but pushing Chris Bumstead like we have not seen Chris get pushed since like maybe the first couple times he went up against Breon and the first time he went up against Raymond Dino. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like Mike Summerfield really, really pushed Chris. And I think Chris won decisively. But like I said, nobody expected Mike Summerfield to come in the way he came in. And I personally, I like Mike. I think he's got a great physique. I don't think he's got a super classic physique, in my opinion. I don't even think he compares to like a lot of the classic guys, and not even like the standard that Chris has set. I really feel like he's more of an open bodybuilder type frame that he's got. You know what I'm saying? I see why he got second, and he had incredible conditioning, incredible flow. He brought a great package, so I see why he got second. But when it comes to what these guys are looking for in terms of what they want classic physique to be, like whether it's the Chris Bumstead standard, whether it's the golden era standard, you know what I'm saying? It's so like we have no idea what direction this is going in, because Mike Summerfield, I feel like, doesn't fit either one of those categories. You know,
well, bro,
and not like he's not like the golden era body type either.
A lot of people forget Terrence Ruffin did not do the show this year, and he was runner up to Chris. Was it 3 out of the 5 times?
I think it was only 2.
2? Yeah. I mean, 1 year he got pushed back by Ramon, but I still think like, people sleep on him because he bowed out because he's like, hey, I've got like 15 pounds of wiggle room to put on my stature until I reach my limit. I think if he came with 10 more pounds of quality muscle, there would be a different story being told right now. Yeah. Like, especially with the way how artistic his posing is and how he's mastered, showing his physique in a way that only really shows his best qualities. Like what's her name from Women's Physique? She also was an expert at showing off. Even when she transitioned, she would do some kind of theatrical movement so that you couldn't focus on one of her weaknesses as she was transitioning to another pose that showed how dominant she was.
I'm talking about the girl that won, Sarah Villegas.
Sarah Villegas. Yeah. So she, I mean, like, that's what her and Terrence have similar posing techniques where their transitions really mask their weaknesses. And they don't know how some people will almost do like each pose is like a quarter turn. They just go in one big circle. I mean, Terrence and Sarah are changing levels. They're up here. Now they're down on their knees. Now he's arching back. Now she's leaning forward. And they really do show off their physique in a really nice way. But I am excited to see Terrence when he comes back. I'm also very excited for Nick's return. I wonder who he's going to work with as a new coach. I think we pretty much covered most of the major stories, if I'm not right. We could talk about Rafael Brandao if you want.
Well, I was going to say, since we were on Classic, just taking a second to acknowledge Chris and his retirement.
Yeah, his reign. Yeah,
dude.
What do you think?
He posted this fucking post recently saying, not having to have a weight cap with the thinking emoji or whatever. And it's like, was he saying not having to have a weight cap because he wants to compete in open division, or is he saying no weight cap because he's retired and he can just do what he wants with his physique? You know what I'm saying? So,
well, one thing that I have respect for when it comes to Chris Bumstead is, classic physique it's a lure. It pulls people in to watching the sport of bodybuilding because now they're not seeing these overly freakish physiques, right? The classic physique, the men's physique seems a little bit more attainable, right? I love that he's like, hey, as a champion in the sport, as the longest winning champion in the sport of classic physique or the category, he's putting up his own money to help raise the pot. I honestly think that as a classic physique, because that draw, the classic physique fan base, you go around and ask someone, who's your favorite bodybuilder? I guarantee you 7 out of 10 times you're gonna hear Chris Bumstead.
Yeah.
And so what?
Definitely the most popular for sure.
Well, he's got like 25, almost 30 million followers on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like, he lives it. He's quiet. He's humble. He's a great ambassador for the sport. I wish that he did do more pop-ups, but he also has a supplement company to run. So, and he's a new dad.
Part owner of Gymshark now too.
So he's getting into it, right? But it's like I'm saying, like, Chris is amazing. He is the standard, right? And I think that him retiring at his pinnacle, because I don't know if you remember last year his post about how his mental health was like, I'm not sure if I want to do this, and yada yada yada. It was almost like the same thing as Ian Valliere. You know what I'm saying? Where he's just like, he's starting to lose passion for it. But the one thing that we have to remember is Chris is only 30. Right. So
Chris he could take 5 years off, dude, and come back and
dominate
and still annihilate for another 5 to 7 to 8 years, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just because he's retired right now does not mean we've seen the last of Chris Bumstead stepping on a stage.
But like, what do you think about like them raising the pot? Because like you got to think about this. A lot of bodybuilders, like there's one. Remember, I think we were talking about that couple where they're talking about the expenses of a bodybuilding show to try to get ready for a bodybuilding show. And dude, you'll spend with the coach and the nutrition and all that stuff. You're going to spend close to $7,000 easily. The hotels, the rent a car, all that shit. But you only win $10,000. So that means, like, I think the prize money period should go up. I think there should be less shows as well, especially in classic. There's no reason why there's 58 classic physique guys going on the stage. It's just ridiculous. I think both categories, bodybuilding and classic physique, need to have the top 25, top 30, and that's it. Everyone else, hey, ominous dominus, thank you for participating. But I think that it should go that way just because, dude, watching classic physique, the prejudging, dude, it was like 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, holy shit, dude. I couldn't even.
I think that, unfortunately, and I hope this isn't true, but I think there was a bigger chance of them raising the classic physique purse significantly, while Chris is still holding the reins. I think that Chris retiring, unfortunately, is gonna. If they do another pay bump next year for Classic Physique, it's probably not going to be as much as it would have been. I mean, and I'm not including like what Chris has, and we have no idea the amount that Chris is offering to put in. He might be offering to match. He might only be offering an extra 10K on top of it. We have no idea what he's offering to put it up to. But like they don't have, since Chris is gone and won't be on the Olympia stage anymore, nobody has the significance that he does. Nobody has the pull. Nobody has the fan base that Chris has. So it's like, are the shows going to still get, especially like the Olympia, is it still going to pull that many classic fans to the show as it used to before without Chris at the, holding the reins of Classic Physique?
I mean, I think that, like, honestly, like, I think 212 men's physique, and I think Classic Physique should be 150,000, and 100,000 for each when it comes to men's physique and 212. And the reason why I said that, and the reason why is because I don't. If you're going to raise the pot, then you can reduce the amount of shows justifiably to keep that in within the circle of the IFBB.
The amount of qualified classic athletes at the least can be controlled a little bit more, because you got to think about this. We only had 16 open competitors at the Olympia, and only like four-ish guys didn't make it that were that qualified.
Mm-hmm.
There was only like 4 guys that I believe that were qualified that either couldn't make it to the U.S. or pulled out of the show for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. So in reality, if everybody would have made it, we probably would have only had 20 open competitors at the entire Olympia for the whole thing. And it's like they have fucking 50 something competitors for
58.
58. Just shy of 60. 58 competitors for Classic Physique.
It was more than 60 because there was like 4 or 5 guys that pulled out.
Yeah.
Like the Stefan Matala guy,
he pulled out. Need to regulate this or have less qualifying shows for Classic Physique each year, because it's just so many fucking people to have to deal with. And then they do every class, every division of bodybuilding known to fucking man at the Olympia too. So it can be a little long and tedious and overwhelming for sure. But I mean, I agree. I think 150K for Classic Olympia would be a really good thing. I just think that, like I said, like since they don't have a guy that's like their Mr. Hollywood of bodybuilding, like Chris Bumstead was, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna take them some time to really be like, oh, Classic Physique is still worth investing in, like we should. You know what I'm saying? But I think Urs, honestly, if he keeps progressing and doing what he needs to, I think Urs could be a pretty good face of Classic, because he's still fucking young and he's only going to get better.
Bro, I think the Super Saiyan hair that he brought in this year also elevated his power levels over 9,000. But I mean, his Urs, one thing I really do like about him is his presentation. And like I love when he said, when he did his first Olympia, that his mom is his posing coach, and everyone's like, what does your mom know about this? And then he goes, oh, my mom is a ballerina, right? And then if you remember that opening scene in Pump and Iron, what are Arnold and Franco doing? They're posing with a ballet teacher, right? And so I think, like, this is what his energy on stage, his confidence. He's a fantastic poser. But like, I don't think he necessarily got bigger than he was in the previous years. I believe that he had more muscle maturity, so that the muscles were denser and popped more through the skin than they ever had before. And so yeah, you're right, dude. If he keeps training and doing what he's doing, I remember seeing a video of him with Marcus Rule, who was a fucking monster back in the day. And him doing all these collaborations. I think Urs would be the perfect next person to get the throne. I mean, Ramon, the one thing I have to say about Ramon, from the front and from the side, he looks fantastic. As soon as he turns around, his lats are like not really that impressive at all.
He undeniably has some of the best forearms in the world, but it's like his forearms are so fucking big that they take away from the rest of his arms and the package that he's presenting. Like, they make his arms look smaller than what they are, and I don't think his forearms are doing him any help in classic physique. You know what I'm saying? Like, what would this dude look like if he packed on 40 more pounds of muscle and went to open, and evened out the way his arms look compared to his forearms, like maybe, I don't know. That might be a good idea. Maybe he'd do good.
I mean, Stefan Matala, he has that great physique, great lines. And I mean, he's suffering from the same thing that Breon is suffering from. He says, I put in all this time to build this muscle. Then I have to lose this muscle just to make weight for whatever division I'm trying to do. And I think that's where, if you ever have to do that, you have to start sacrificing muscle to get in shape or to get into a weight class.
Fuck that division.
You need to leave that. Yeah, fuck that division and move up. You got to move up.
That's one of my fears in life is like the time I put into training and to getting my correct amount of proteins, super supplements, all that stuff. Like everything I do to try to meet my goals, and then like having to getting an injury. Like recently, I injured my back a couple months ago, and I took like 4 or 5 weeks off of training, and it's like I felt terrible. Just a couple weeks of not training, and then the few weeks after that I still had to take off, I felt terrible. I felt like I looked terrible. I definitely didn't keep up with my diet as much as I should, just because of that, because I wasn't training properly. When that in reality, that's the time I should have been keeping up with my diet the most. You know what I'm saying? But it's like one of my biggest fears is deteriorating any muscle that I put on my body. Like, I don't want to lose muscle whatsoever. So if I'm 6'1", sitting at about 250 pounds right now. And if I ever got to the point to where I had to sacrifice muscle to meet a division's qualifications for a show, like, I'm just gonna do open. Like, I have no I don't even care. I mean, I love classic physique is awesome, and I love a lot of the classic competitors. I enjoy watching it, but do I have ambitions to compete in classic? Absolutely not. Like, I would love to be in an open competition more than anything.
So also, like, the same thing you're saying. I am like 6'2", 6'3", depending on if I get go to the chiropractor. And I weigh 300 pounds right now, right? So if one of my buddies, you need to cut down and do the classic physique. I think my weight cap is anywhere between like 238 and 245. But that's 60 pounds of mass to lose. And, for me, it's like, and I'm still main gaining.
And and you're sitting at the weight you have, and you have visible abs too. So it's like making that cut I don't even think it's possible. 245, I don't think it's possible for you. Not
without losing muscle. And it's like, do I want to lose everything that I put it in? The one thing, of course, everybody who's a tall bodybuilder needs to work on is legs. But I measured my quads just at the bottom of my adductors. I got 30-inch quads, legs. So I mean, they're not small. It's just the fact that my femur is so long. There's that much more space I need to try to fill up. And
that's one thing I'm 6'1", but I have like comparative to my upper frame compared to my legs. My legs are slightly shorter in comparison than a lot of other people's bodies. Even though I'm tall, like it doesn't. So my legs look a little more packed on, especially in my quad area for my height than what like somebody normally at my height would look. You know what I'm saying? So, but because of that, I have a longer upper body too. So
what that means is your legs, if trained up and you're ready to go, could be an asset. But having such a long torso, and depending on where your lat inserts are, I mean, you might be like a King Williams. You got a fucking fantastic little waist, fantastic quads, nice hamstrings, great calves, and then your torso is so long, your lat inserts are so high, it doesn't really help accentuate your physique in any particular way. I
don't know if we'll be able to see them here, but
it looks like they're not bad. You're definitely looking better than when we started. There's definitely visible gains, but I mean,
they start like right here.
So they start around the diaphragm. Yeah. If you were to, okay. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? What happens once we both get a little bit more dice?
Yeah, you got to shred down more to be able to tell.
I just have to say, man, I'm really, really looking forward to this next season of bodybuilding. Not only because I'm going to be doing a dash to get on the show myself, do a show myself, but also just for all the competitors, man. I feel like we have a very competitive class of bodybuilders. You know what I'm saying? When it was Phil Heath's reign, it pretty much was the Kai Green Phil Heath show. You know what I'm saying? Like you already knew these were going to be the top two guys. No one was even remotely close to them when it came to more muscle density. Like honestly, Kai Green, when it comes to muscle density and maturity, is one of my top bodybuilders, top three. You can't knock. Yes, he's a short guy. Look at a rear double bicep from Kai. His biceps look like a Robbie Robinson. Where they're just this. It looks like someone like, you know what? I'm just going to cut a grapefruit in half and stick it on each side. He's got they're massive. His conditioning was great, but I'm really excited, man. Like we were talking about earlier in the beginning of the podcast. If anyone in the top 10 either slipped or was a little bit better, we would have a completely different lineup right now. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And like that is exciting to me, not knowing who's going to win. I mean, you can look at somebody and they're perfect on Friday. Then you come back to Saturday and you're like, ooh, I don't know what they did, but they don't look as sharp. Almost like what happened to Akeem Williams again. People were like, okay, he's okay, whatever. Comes in the next day, and people were like, what the fuck just happened to Akeem? Like, it's just one of those things. But I mean, because I remember something saying that he was 15 points behind somebody, and then during the finals, he was only like a 6 to 8 point difference. Like that's a big jump, dude. That's a really big jump in sport, and it's just like I'm also looking forward to see who's the next Mr. Saturday Night. So that's what they used to call Phil Heath, because you always knew he was going to be tighter Saturday. Yeah.
2025 is going to be very fun in the general bodybuilding world, but also in both of our personal bodybuilding worlds too, because, next summer you're going to be making your run for your pro card, and I'm going to be hopefully getting near or doing my first competition as well. So not only do we have a great season of professional bodybuilding to look forward to when it comes to these awesome shows like the Arnold and all these other really cool pro shows that we got that we look forward to watching. But in our personal journeys as well, 2025 should be pretty interesting too, because you've competed before, you've won shows before, and so you have the experience and all that stuff already in that department. So, but in my opinion, I've told you this off camera before, but in my opinion, I've worked out with you. I've known you for a few years now. I know your physique. I believe, with my knowledge, that once you're down conditioning wise where you need to be, I guarantee you could win a pro show, like as soon as you're ready to be on stage. I guarantee it, and I guarantee next summer you can get your pro card. So,
hey, I appreciate that humbly. That means a lot, man. It's been a long journey.
Anything that happens, we will, like, since this is something new that we're starting, like, we will, any significant landmarks that we reach, like, I would love to upload a video or a little montage of me doing my first show, and whatever happens in Micah's journey as well. We would love to keep this channel updated on it too. So I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to add that.
Oh no, we're cool with that, man. I just appreciate the compliment and the fact that you have faith in that I could actually step up to the plate and do it. I had a conversation with my wife just last night, and she was saying, because we were looking at this timeline of Samson Dauda and where he was, and my wife is like, she goes, his 2021 picture, she goes, if you were conditioned, she says, you would be a little bit tighter than he is here. And I was like, wait, seriously? She's like, yeah. She's like, she's like, every single person, because I was placing, in the top 3, top 4, if not winning, for all the shows I did previous, and not, that's without super subs. So I was beating out guys on the super subs naturally. Now, once my levels dropped, I got on TRT, did some other stuff, and now it's just like, I mean, dude, I got a 57-inch chest and 19-inch arms relaxed. You know what I'm saying? So it's been one of those things that has been an eye opener to me, because there are a couple of pros I know that were like, hey, man, like, if you were to do gear and actually have like a really good coach to help get you there and get, you have that critical eye, they all said the same thing. They were like, you'll dominate the field. And I was like, plus my stature, and I don't have short clavicles, so like I'm the guy driving the car and my shoulder brushing up against my wife in the front seat because I'm taking up so much room, But I appreciate the compliment, man. I know you're going to do great things. You're still young. You got plenty of time.
I was just going to say this. I screen captured a story that you posted recently where you're hitting a front double bicep. So if y'all think I'm fucking lying, if y'all think I'm fucking just blowing smoke up my friend's ass, look at this motherfucker, dude. Look at this fucking mass monster right here, bro. This dude is coming for y'all. I promise.
Hey, man, to me, it's just something I enjoy doing. You know what I mean? I would say that bodybuilding is one of my coping skills to dealing with trauma and from dealing with, like, mental health wise. It makes me feel energized. It helps knock off some, any negative feelings or thoughts I was having. So to me, it's not just worth the exterior gains, but the development and the discipline that comes with a sport like bodybuilding. It does definitely help if you take that same drive and determination to other things, whether it be small businesses, what have you. It's just, I love the sport, and I can't wait to actually get on stage with some of these guys that I actually look up to and and see what I could do. So with that being said, brother,
it's gonna be a fun year, man. We've been hitting this for an hour and 45 minutes now. I think we pretty much nailed everything on the head that we wanted to talk about in the bodybuilding community, as much as we need to or as we possibly can. So it was another fun one. Hopefully, since we weren't doing any screen sharing or anything like that, that there's no video issues. I've been checking the live stream and the video and audio seem good. So hopefully this upload is considerably better than the last two. Micah, I love you, brother. We'll see y'all next time. We're gonna try to be on here more often. Like we said, we just started this YouTube channel, something brand new. This is something we've talked about doing for quite a while now, but we're gonna try to look at trying to do either a live podcast or some kind of video upload at least once a week going forward. So we're gonna build a channel. We're gonna make it. We're gonna pretty it up and make it look nicer and all that stuff coming soon too. So,
well, guys, I appreciate you spending your time with us. Listen to us, ramble on about some of the things that we're very passionate about the sport. Colton said, he's my bro, man, and not just a gym bro. He's a hold me down homie. During the zombie apocalypse, we're meeting up and we're dropping bodies. Okay, but we are grateful for you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And leave your comments in the comment section. Some of the best comments, or you guys got questions you want to leave down there. We can generate a list, pick some of the best comments and questions, and then we can give you a shout out on the channel as well as we answer those questions for you. All right, so guys, you have a blessed day.
Also, if we meet somebody cool in the comments and you're knowledgeable, maybe we can bring you on too. So just engage. The engagement with the channel would help us out a lot. So we appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, guys. So Mike is signing off. I love you guys. Wish the best for you. Remember, strength is never weakness. Quoting Mark Bell. And also, anything worthwhile comes with hard work, and it's not meant to come easy. So you guys stay out there, stay blessed, stay focused, stay determined, and remember, if they can do it, so can you. All right, have a good one, guys.
Sounds good. Later, y'all.